You didn't stumble upon this video by accident, and you didn't come this far to only come this far. I know you've been working on your dream life and your dream business. And in this video, I'm going to share the one shift that you can make that will unlock your full potential. And it's something that you are probably aware of and something that you actually want to shift out of. Answer me this. Have you ever been in a situation where somebody is telling you what you should do? Hey, you should do this. And that voice in the back of your head is like, I'm not going to do that. Like, don't tell me what to do, right? Or maybe you've been in a situation where you're expecting your day to go one way. You have it all planned out. You're like, this is going to be a great day. I'm going to get so much done. And then something happens and it completely throws you off. And instead of, getting back to your day and just kind of rolling with it, you wallow in that. If so, you are not alone. I have so been there. I am a Taurus. That is my sun sign. So I am notorious for being stubborn. Earlier in my life, I would be one to hold a lot of grudges, but as my friend Will Smith says, hate in your heart will consume you too. So we gotta release those. What I want to talk about today is something that I've noticed from a lot of my clients recently. So I have the privilege of working with a lot of powerhouse women, right? These are coaches, these are healers, these are people who are healing the world, raising consciousness. They are powerful women. If you're watching this, you are probably one of them. A lot of them are expanders. So what I mean by that is they are here to show the world what is possible. So you're here to expand their worldview to what is possible, right? And so the one thing that I've been noticing that is holding a lot of these powerhouse women that I work with, and if you're a client of mine, you know this, we've been working on it, it is this self-sabotage behavior around your personality, around stubbornness, around this idea of don't tell me what to do. And I call it the lower self, right? It's operating from the lower self versus the higher self. So when you're operating from the lower self, you're letting your personality run the show. So you're not doing things that are good for you because of what's coming up in your personality. So sometimes what comes up is, oh, they recommended it for me, so I'm not going to do it, right? It needs to come from myself in order for me to do it. But sometimes the universe speaks to us through others because we're not getting the downloads, because we're so busy, because we are constantly on the go, because we need to do some healing, right? So when we're operating from the lower self, we're operating from comparison. We're operating from this idea of the ego, from fear, from lack, a lot of times from materialism, right? From outside validation, likes and comments and money, right? These things that maybe only will serve us personally on the short term, so instant gratification. And really what needs to happen is we need to shift to operating from our higher self, because when you operate from your higher self, you're operating from love. You're thinking about how is this going to serve everybody rather than just yourself? And the way that you get the success that you crave, the impact that you crave, is you think about how can I help others rather than how can I just help myself? When you are focused on how can my mission serve others, your mission grows, your reach grows, your income grows, everything grows, because the universe works as a collective. It wants everybody to succeed and it wants everybody to benefit. Yeah. The higher self, it seeks growth, expansion, love, and it does require humility. If you've been operating in the lower self, like somebody is triggering you and you're like, I know that this is good for me, but I don't want to do it because my mom recommended it, right? Well, maybe the universe is speaking through your mom, and it doesn't always mean that you need to do what other people are telling you to do, because trust me, people love to give unsolicited advice, but your energy behind it is what's important. We are stepping into a new earth where we cannot feel one way and act another way. Everything needs to be in alignment. So if you are feeling bitter, you are feeling angry, you are feeling resentful, right? You are wallowing in sadness and you're just still like posting and showing up and just like trying to be there, the universe is not having it. You're not going to get the growth that is available to you, that you want to step into, and that the universe wants you to step into. So we need to shift out of that. We need to shift into alignment. We need to shift into flow. We need to shift into feeling of love. So when somebody is giving you this advice or telling you, oh, you should do this or you should do that, or, things like that, instead of being resentful and being in that stubborn lower part of our personality, we want to step into, oh, she's coming from love, and check in with your higher self and ask yourself, like, when I go into my heart, do I know this to be true? Is this something that I should pursue, right? Because your higher self knows, you know. And that's what this is all about, is trusting yourself, right? The more you trust yourself in your life and your business, the more you are connected to your higher self, the faster you will grow, the easier your journey will be, right? And so if you're like, yeah, Sarah, I know I can tell when I'm just like angry and like upset and like not doing something I know that I should do because I have this block, this ego around it. Like, how do I heal it? Let's talk about it. So the first thing that can be really powerful is inner child healing. You may have heard of it, you may have done it, but sometimes we do things, we got to do them again. We got to do them a lot. Some things we got to do them constantly, right? You get to decide how much you need to do, but pay attention to your personality. And if it's, oh, did that, tried that, right? We want to open up to it. We're like, hey, personality, I see you. And I like to think about the personality and ego. I think about them kind of the same, but they are different. The ego is always going to be fearful, right? It's always going to be wanting to protect us and keep us safe, where personality is going to be different. Your personality is going to be different than my personality, but we'll probably have, if you're watching my channel, if we're like the same age, we do similar work, we'll probably have some similar programming that makes us operate in certain ways, right? Or like if you have a friend who you guys grew up in very similar homes, similar parenting, you guys probably have similar personalities, right? Because it's just your conditioning. It's how you were raised. We all live in this society, so we're going to have similar conditioning. Right now, there's like a lot of reprogramming around masculine and feminine energy, around working hard, right? Because we grew up in this society that taught us that we need to work hard and we need to be in our masculine. And it's like, we actually can release that now. We actually don't need to be working hard anymore, right? We need to be aligning with what we want. We need to be in the flow, and we are all powerful manifestors. So programming is where our personality comes from, and conditioning. And so, for example, inner child healing can be really powerful because a lot of times we didn't get the parenting, the nourishment, the love that we needed as a child or even as a teenager. Maybe your childhood was great, but then when you got into your teenage years, there's a lot of anger and rage and comparison that needs to be healed. So that can be really powerful. I have an inner child healing meditation that I'm going to upload on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe. And as soon as that goes live, you'll get a notification. That can be really powerful. Inner child meditations, inner child journaling, right? Just like connecting with that version of yourself that's upset, that's angry, right? That's being stubborn, and just giving it some love. I know for me, I grew up in a family where feeling your feelings wasn't accepted. I was always taught to be strong, don't fight like a girl, don't talk like a girl, don't look like a girl. P.S. You guys, I was a girl. And so I had to do a lot of healing around being in my feminine and feeling my emotions and feelings and letting it be okay, because my conditioning programmed me to, when somebody would offer help to me, my first instinct was like, I don't need help. I can do it. I'm strong. I'm capable, right? And it's like, yeah, strong and capable people, they accept help. They are really good at receiving. And if you are feeling similar, if you're like, yeah, I kind of had that programming too, it's like, yeah, we need to open up to that so that we can receive help, right? So that we can achieve our goals. Like, we're not meant to be doing it all on our own. So inner child healing can be a great way to release that personality, that stubbornness. I often use the language integrate, right? Those parts of ourselves that are scared, afraid, stubborn, bitter, angry, right? And it's not that we're never going to feel that way, but really what this is all about is being able to be aware of when you're in it. It's like, oh, I need to be posting about my business, but I don't want to do that because this person does it. And like, I'm not like this person. And it's like, well, does your higher self think that posting about your business would serve you? Well, yes. Well, then you should do it. Same thing. Does eating healthy, does that seem like something that would serve you, even if like your mom always like pushed this on you? Yes. Well, okay, then we got to do this, right? We got to look out for what's in our highest good. And sometimes it will come through people that trigger us. But if we can get to a place where they no longer trigger us, then we're really opening up to abundance, and we're really opening up to possibilities, then you're really opening up to your success. So inner child work is really powerful. Moving from judgment and criticism, especially when you're just like in those low vibrations and energy and you're just like, like it's just not working. I'm upset. I'm angry, whatever it is. It's like, okay, asking yourself, what can I do to nourish my heart right now? What can I do to nourish my heart? Because the more you nourish your heart, the more love you have, the more you open your heart, the more you'll increase your vibration, right? So for me, a lot of times it looks like turning on music, making a nice meal, right? Going for a walk by myself. Walks and showers, they really shift the energy, help me increase that vibe. And then the next thing that you can do that can just be really helpful is just set your intention right now. I'm going to be aware of when I'm acting out of my personality versus my higher self. I'm just going to start being aware of that. How often am I doing that? And then the next step is, okay, I'm going to start trying to shift out of it. Oh, I'm in my personality. I'm shifting out of it and really getting into this like higher self view. This is how I like to operate in my coaching sessions. I do a lot of like higher self coaching with my clients where we step out of the personality, we connect with our higher self, we get into a grounded space and we observe ourselves from the higher perspective. And you can do that too when you're like in your personality and you're like saying things that's like just kind of like out of body, higher self perspective, and just see how you're operating. And it can kind of comical. You'll be like, oh, there's little Sarah. She's freaking out again. Okay, let's see if she can shift. Come on, Sarah, you can do it, right? And you're just kind of working with yourself. And this is literally how you heal yourself, how you integrate. And this will help your business and your life so much because that is what your soul wants. It wants you to move out of your personality, your conditioning, and remember your power. Remember what you're capable of. And this will allow you to move through your days with so much freedom. It will just feel like everything's aligning, right? If you see people and you're like, wow, how do all these good things happen to them? How are they just in the right place at the right time? How is all this flow happening, right? It's because they have moved out of their personality and they're purely operating as their higher self, which you're going to do too. I know you're going to do it. So this week, I challenge you to notice when you're operating in your lower self, your personality, that stubbornness, and see if you can shift lovingly into your higher self, right? See if you can shift into your higher self energy. If you need to do some inner child healing, if you need to do some journaling, right? And just checking in like, is this right for me? Am I sitting in this pain longer than I need to be? Is it time to move on? And then shift yourself. Set your intention, right? Set your intention. I am going to shift out of my personality this week into my higher self and see what I can bring forth, what alignment, how good it can get, how great my life can get, how much I can grow my business, how much freedom I can have in my life when I shift. I'm going to be very aware. This is going to be my intention for the week. All right. I love you so much. Until next time. Bye, friend.